Hey, and welcome to Touch Base Daily. And my name is Ron Foster, and
I'm Chris Edwards. How you guys
and
doing
I
today?
and I am here usually every day except for Sundays. And we are here. Today is Friday. It's our Focus Friday. So excited to be here, and so we're looking forward to having our discussion today. Today we're going to be talking about Origin, the movie. But there was a couple of things that also came up yesterday as the world of politics and news happens. That's what's going on in the world. So let's see here. First of all, I just want to say good morning. Let's see who's in the Instagram world. Hey, Pudge Love 718. I see Road to Legacy in the Instagram world. Come on over to our YouTube channel, which is Touch Base Daily. You can just put it in the search, or you can just tap onto Ron Lewis Photos and your YouTube. Come on over. Come on over. And I won't sing. I will try not to sing the song. But also, let me just Chris, what's going on in your world before I get started?
Man, just been busy. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning, and I figured since I'm up, let me just make myself productive. I went to the gym at like 5 o'clock. All the laundry's done, folded, put away. All the work is done for the day, actually. So after I get up with you, I'm done. I even did some bank work, so I'm good.
Wow. Wow. Today, I mean, it was so funny because I'm a little slightly delayed this morning because it's right at the last minute. I got a call from a client, a potential client, and last minute. But if they say yes, that's a good thing. Gave them the price, gave
Yes.
them the price quote, and they're like, okay, no problem. So he's going to talk to the family. It's a Sweet 16 birthday party in Long Island, so
Oh,
that should be
nice.
a lot of fun. If I get the gig, so it will be cool. I love when people call me for my event photography. I love photographing events, and so I'm excited about that. So yeah, that is what's going on this morning. So sorry, forgive me for being 2 minutes late or a minute and a half late because that's what we do. But also, I've had as we try to turn on our Instagram, folks, sometimes that little thing takes a little while to connect. So, Instagrammers, come on over to our YouTube channel. Yes, it is a good place to be. Elise is in the building. Elise, could you please text me in Instagram your email address? Your email address. I can send you a invitation to come on. Okay, so you can do that, or I can just send it through. I probably can just send it through the Instagram, but probably not. I don't want to play with these little buttons and you get
Yeah.
all thrown off. So last night, I have to say, I slept well. I'm trying to go to bed earlier, even though I did not go to bed the time I was supposed to go to bed, but I'm getting there. And last night, we had an amazing meeting with Dr. Tachi. It was so informative. She had a young lady, I think her last name was Mendez, Anna. What's her
Anna.
last? Anna
No,
Mendez.
Anna Fitzgerald.
Anna Fitzgerald. That's right, Fitzgerald, but I don't know what's the middle of this. But Fitzgerald, she was so informative in giving us like some
Yeah.
coaching ideas about streaming and what it is to take care of yourself and how to share. So guess what? I'm going to be looking at this green light much more.
So
So you can
here's
see my face.
the one thing I got from that, and I'm going to
Yeah.
try to implement a little bit more, was the waterfalling schedule or
Yeah.
waterfall scheduling. I want to try that.
Yeah, she talked about scheduling, how to plan out your streams, how to take care of yourself, how to, look at a blank wall and kind of like regroup. And it
Yeah.
was
How much are you
amazing.
consuming versus how much are
Yeah.
you putting out?
She gave
Yeah.
us a lot of tips. And let me tell you, I'm always appreciative when someone gives you information like that. And you're like, that that was a little master class there. I know master classes are longer and in detail, but it was definitely a great little
Yeah.
workshop. And
It
we
was
learned a whole lot of stuff
it
that
was
I would
hyper focused.
it was hyper. And there were some great people in the room, like
Yes.
Chris. Chris was in the
Gwen-
room.
Gwendolyn
Gwendolyn
was
was in
there
the
last
room.
night. Gwendolyn
Yeah.
was there.
So
And
it
she's
was
in the room right now.
and she's in the room right now. Hey, Gary's in the room too. Gary's become my new brother. He's become my new brother. I love Gary. Who else is in the room? Let me just say, let's post some of these good mornings. Look at that. Good. Gary says, "Good morning. Good morning." Kimmy says, "Hi everyone." Hey, Bryce is in the building. Our entertainment guy. What's up, Ron? What's
What's
up?
up,
What's up,
Bryson?
RLP family? And what's up, CQ fam? He will always give a shout out to the CQ family, and a lot of folks are from this in this community are from CQ. So shout out to the CQ family. Let's see here, Gwendolyn and uh this is a rolling joke between Gwendolyn and I. Gwendolyn has 8 calendars. Mm-mm.
I'm down to 3.
I only have 3, and that's all
Yeah.
I will ever have. No, I should say whatever, but
But
I
no,
have 3.
here's a question for Gwendolyn. Those 8, are they merged into one where you can it's in one central place that you can look at them all? That's the
Yeah,
question.
mine are all merged. I have 3 calendars merged onto my main calendar.
That's so do I. I had more than that, but as you go along, you tend to, downsize a little bit.
And Gary says, "My long lost big brother." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so it's been really good just hanging out, meeting and sharing. Lisa's in the building, so we're gonna bring her on later on, and we're gonna when we start talking about Origin, the movie. And we are not going to give the movie away. For those that are like, "Oh my God, don't tell us what's happening," we're not telling you what's going to happen in the movie. We're telling you what we got from the movie. How about that? Can
We'll
we make
skirt
that?
around the
Yeah,
edges.
we're nibbling around the edges. We're nibbling around the edges. Here, good morning. Don't forget to hit the yes, there we go. Thank you, Kristen. Christine says, "Good morning. Don't forget to hit the like button." Yes, right. Hit those like buttons
And subscribe.
and
Subscribe.
subscribe. Now I am now conscious of my green light. I am so glad that Apple has made that one of their features that the green light is right there for when you're talking. I love it.
It's always been. You mean when you're live, we're recording
Yeah.
or the video?
Well, no.
Yeah.
Well, I did on my HP. I didn't have it.
No, this has always been a thing on Apple. When it always lets you know when your device is being used. So anytime your camera's is actually being used, you get
That little green light.
green light. Now, also too, like with iPhone stuff like that, if your phone's being used for like voice recording or talking, you get an orange light. So you always know when something on your device is being used.
I like it. I love it because I know to look into the green light. Look into the green light so that way I can look into you guys' eyes. Okay. Because we do have a habit when we're online to look lower and look down. But okay, I got all these little green lights around here. Lisa says, "I will leave when you guys start because I don't like receiving my food already nibbled on."
So Lisa doesn't share food.
Typical Lisa. Typical Lisa. I love it. You are so witty. You need to be writing for some magazine
Ooh,
somewhere.
East Africa.
We got look at that from Tanzania. Good evening from Serengeti National Park, Tanzania, East Africa. Yes,
Nice. Welcome.
Omona is in the building. How are you, sir? All the way from East Africa. Love it. We have hey y'all, we have an international audience.
We
We got
do.
East Africa, India, London, yeah, South Africa. Those are the folks that come in, join us. Let's see. Did we say good morning to hey?
Hello.
Amparo is in the building. Grand Rising Amparo. Amparo is in the building. Did we get through all of those? Okay, so anyway, before we start Origin, I don't know if you've been seeing what's going on air today and yesterday. It is this subject. Let me just post this. Hold on a second. Where is it? Where is it? And Representative Troy Nehls, which is a Republican from Texas, typical of Texas, comments about Republican Cori Bush from Minnesota.
Oh, I missed this.
And oh, well, if you get a chance to, you have to see the clip and from Joy Reid. Joy Reid did a great job on it. However, our boy, let me just make sure I got it up here on my screen. Well, let me just show you let me just use my screen here because this is much better to just show it. He goes off on her because the whole case is that she's being threatened because she stands up to the Republicans. She stands up to their nonsense while she's in Congress. She stands up. She represents her people from her district. She is one of the most amazing congresswomen on the Congress floor in the House. And this guy is obviously her colleague because they're all on the Congress floor. So let me just share this because it's something worth sharing. I know it's going to lead us right into our topic of the day with origin. Let me see. Come on, guy. Come on. There we go. Is presenting working? Okay, let's see. Let's try it again. I guess the presentation is not working today. Okay. Here we go. It's a little slow. Everything's a little slow. Maybe it's my streaming. Okay. A little slow today. Slow in responding. Give it a moment, y'all. Give it a moment. There we go. It's a little slow today. Just a little slow.
It's being temperamental, that's all.
Yeah, everything's a little bit in slow motion. Been that way for me these last couple of days. I've been operating in slow motion.
Well, after today, shut everything down completely.
Yeah,
do
and
a little reboot, and then I always tell people recommend shutting everything down at least once a week.
So it's moving slow.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Yes. So GOP congressman tells Democrat to tone it down after DOJ subpoena. And what they do is they want to investigate her because she hired her husband. She hired several people to protect her because she gets death threats every day. She gets death threats. I mean, literally, she needs protection. However, she can't afford the big, some of the rich dudes that are in Congress. They get to get, bodyguards and all that other stuff. But she gets death threats, being one of the only Black women. I mean, it's not more of them now in Congress, but she gets death threats, and she's one of the most vocal Black women. She's one of the most vocal of the Congress people. And so she hired her husband, and this dude calls the husband, or he said she hired some thug. He uses all these racist troves, all this language. I mean, it's on CNN, but I won't even go into. I won't show the video because I don't want to get us in YouTube trouble. But it's something worth looking at. It's on CNN. Check it out on CNN. Check it out if you want to really see it in its real. Go to Joy Reid. She had an amazing commentation yesterday. Commentary. Okay, let me see here. Also, everything's moving in slow motion today. If you have not, also, I have posted it in the in our Touch Base Daily channel. Charles Bowe has mentioned and talked about it in his segment. So check it out. Yeah, I think everything's moving slow. Is it just me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, there you go.
We can hear you.
And he brings out the theory, which I have never heard of, the sapphire caricature. I have never heard of that. So check out. I think I can play this a little bit, but don't know if you can hear it. Again, it's slow. Everything is slow today. Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna play. Well, at least it's subtitled.
You can't.
You
Probably
can't hear,
can't hear it. You can't.
but
You
the
can only hear it
subtitles
in
there,
my
so
right. So, but check it out. It is worth checking it out. If you I also put it in my stories this morning so everyone can see it. It is. He does such a great commentary. I had never heard of the sapphire caricature. Never heard of it, and I got some wisdom. So you know what? When I learn something, I gotta pass it on. I gotta pass it on to you because that's how we do it in this community. We all want to be smarter than we came into this room. So anyway, just did that. I just wanted to share that with you guys because it takes us into our conversation about racism and the caste system. And so I'm going to stop sharing that. Yeah, everything's just a little slow today. Don't understand why, but we're going to get rid of some of these. I'm going to get rid of some of these things off the screen, and that's going to help also to speed up my internet. Okay, so guys, how many people have? Oh wait, before I go there, there's comments in the box. So I'm just waiting for this all thing to clean up. It's moving so freaking slow today. There we
there you
go.
go.
There we go. We got that gone. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in the comment box. Because I know some of you have seen this. Dr. Tati says, good morning, popping in for a bit. Okay. Lisa said he's a clown. Yeah. Elise says, I saw the video. He is terrible. First of all, when I heard him speak, I almost thought it was a scene from a bad racist movie. It was, I mean, I'm not surprised by any of these people. I'm never surprised.
They're saying what they think out loud now.
Yes, it was so, it was jarring. I just stopped and I just couldn't believe it. Lisa says exactly. Let's see here. Then, I'll tell you, the man is a complete subhumanist and rogue. The fact that said, oh yeah, this is the part that drove me crazy. The fact that he said thug instead of husband. I was like, there is a systematic, and I don't like to be. Believe me, I'm not. I don't like to play the race card and everything as a black and white. But in America, unfortunately, it is. And for those that refuse to believe that everything is a black and white, everything is a people of color versus white. It is. This is America. Look, we just have to accept where we are. It's not that we hate America. We just say what America is. And but yeah, this is a congressman, and there's several of them like that in the Congress. It was quite upsetting to me, and obviously you see I'm still jarred. Still jarred. Yeah, because Chris said new gaslighting black women to think they are angry. Oh yeah, here it is. Lisa says, Chrissy sent me a post. I never knew gaslighting black women to think they are angry, loud. Black women, if they speak up, is called sapphire caricature. Did not know. Like I said, I learned this today. I should say I learned this last night. Well, this morning. Yeah, I guess got this email this morning. You know, I love Charles Blow and his so everything that happens, at least I get to see his messages or his postings. Brian says dog whistles have been thrown out out long ago. Thug, they're straight gaslighting us. It's
Yep.
everywhere. I mean, you see, it's a
Trump
systematic
gave
one.
them the permission to just say what they were feeling and thinking out loud without any repercussions.
That like I would like to say, hello, Nikki Haley. This is not because of Obama. Ali says, thanks for passing it on, Ron. I just thought it was something that I was like, people need to know what this congressman said. It's just and he doesn't even know her. She says, I don't even know this dude. All I know him in passing. And he said, I mean, it was almost like, shut up and just play ball. You know, that statement. Or anytime Black people stand up for their rights, and it's like, oh, don't get so emotional. Why are you so no, I'm not being emotional. Well, maybe I am, but I'm not losing my mind.
But why is it that when you have an opinion or a thought, you're emotional? Why can't you just be expressing exactly how you feel and what's
Exactly.
on your mind? Like, why does it have to go to there? Like, anytime a Black person is angry, they're taking it out of context and they're emotional, and you know, you're not speaking direct. You're just speaking from your feelings. I'm allowed to.
Yeah. It's like, I remember many times when I had conversations with certain people in my management that were my bosses. They were like, Ron, I think you're taking that out of you really, you shouldn't be angry about that. Right. Well, maybe I'm here because this was offensive and it shouldn't go on. And what they said about this individual as a manager, speaking about another manager, oh, Ron, you know, you're just a little too emotionally attached to this. Tone it down. Tone it down.
Mm.
Tone it down, Black people. Anyway, I just, like I said, it did get under my skin, seeing this dude, and I was like, I know, what was I was it gave me what PST post PTS.
PCC.
Post-traumatic syndrome. I began to think about all my bosses in the past. I began to think about all the bosses that told me to tone it down. In other words, Black person, shut up. Just do your work. Anyway, I just had to share it. I just had to share it. So if you have not seen it, it's worth looking at. Not to anger you, but it's just to keep you aware of where we are in this country. You always need to be reminded of where we are, so that way you can act and plan accordingly. Okay, Elise, I'm going to try. I think if you know what, Elise, put in the comment box. Let me see. Did you send me that in your email? Let me see here. Let me see if you send me your email, because I want to get you in here. If not, I can just simply post this on here. You know what? I'm just going to do it this way. Elise, you might be able to do it this way. We want to get Elise in here on this conversation. Everything is slow. It is slow today. Hey, how's everybody doing in Instagram world? I'm just checking on you. Hey, Dilly with a dot is in the building. Jamel Shabazz is in the building. D Tuggles in the building. Come on over to YouTube. Rambo is in the building. TJAY is in the building. Harlem 84, my cuzzo, is in the building. And Kashan is in the building. And yeah, so Elise, I'm just going to post this on the screen, and then hopefully you can connect with it. Man.
Well, let's send her a DM. Can you send her a DM?
Can I? Let me see.
If you're in Instagram, just send her a DM with the link.
Yes. Okay. Let's do it that
So
way.
then she can just click. It's a clickable item in her personal DM.
Okay, let me do that. Okay. Thank you, wise man.
Yeah, I'll try a little something.
Yeah. Let me get this here. So we again, so how many people just by in the audience, and this will help us gauge on how we converse about Origin. How many people have seen the movie Origin? How many of you have seen the movie Origin? If you have, put a thumbs up. If you haven't, don't put it down, but just say no. That's such a negative, right? But let me get to, hold on a second. Elise, I'm going to give you this nice little invite here. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you can do it. Okay, you can do that real quick. Okay. Copy. And I'm gonna put this in Elise's. If I can just get
Chrissy's
the name.
Corner has seen it.
Who?
Chrissy's Corner,
Oh, Christy's Corner. Oh, cool.
he's seen it.
Who else has seen it? Who else has seen it?
So we've got quite a few no's. Lisa hasn't seen it. Derek hasn't seen it. Kelly hasn't seen it yet. Kim hasn't seen it yet, but she's going to. Gary have not seen it, but plan to.
Okay. Wow, this is sorry guys, I'm having a little technical difficulties as in everything is slow today. But
Bryson says he's seen the trailer and watched the interviews with Ava DuVernay and Angela. Why do I always pronounce her name incorrectly? Anjune. But he hasn't actually seen the movie yet. So as Lisa says, so nobody. I mean, we can talk about the movie without actually talking directly, giving details about the movie, because it talks about a system and what we learned through the movie, and then also subsequently because of the book. Now, I'll just kind of start off just a little bit as Ron's did
yeah,
with
go ahead, buddy.
this is based off of a book, and the name of the book is actually called The Origins of Our Discontents, and it's written by Isabel Wilkerson, and it came out in 2020, I believe it was, when it was released. So just the fact that this book, like I said, was released in 2020, and the fact that it actually came out as a full featured movie in 2024 is a really quick turnaround. So, I kind of asked the question, was Ava given a little bit of early access to the book? Because a lot of times to get a book like this, it takes years, sometimes decades, to get the rights from the book, to create a screenplay for it, to find all the actors, to actually shoot the movie, and then to do all the post-production and then give it a release date and put it out. There was literally only about 3 years in between. So a lot went on behind the scenes to get this movie made. And I think it was such an important movie to make. I started hearing the buzz about it late last year, like most people did. But to actually sit down and watch this movie, it's riveting in a way that it tells history, it tells a few different stories and ties them all together and talks about a system. And when I say a system, it deals with, as we'll talk about, a few different things.
Elise, just so you know, Elise, if you can just copy I'm not sure if you can. Just write this down into your onto your browser. This will get you into our StreamYard. I can't get any of my systems because the systems are not working. But
well, actually, Ron, take that down because you don't giving access to everyone. What I'll do is I'll see if I can send it to her.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have the email you sent me.
That's only when I post that. That's only for this segment, right? It's not for everyone.
No, well, no, it's for this stream, but anyone that sees it can plug into it. I mean, afterwards, it's not good because it's only good for a one-time thing, basically.
Exactly. And then also they can't come in and just let them in.
No, right.
So yeah, so it's okay.
Copy. All right, so I'm just gonna send it to her real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have it as well. Yeah, my systems are on slow go today. I think our Spectrum is having. Last Friday they went out, and again this Friday they have a problem. So Spectrum.
All right, Luis, if you're in the room, check your DMs. I sent you the link for it. All you gotta do is click on it, and I'll put you right in.
Awesome. Yeah, but continue what you were saying, Chris. Because yeah.
No, I was just saying, you know, I think that I want to actually go back and read the book as well, because I learned so much from watching this film and just getting a better understanding of the different systems throughout the world, and actually how one system is really the root of all of these things.
Yes, and
Yeah,
we're not going to tell you something that when you do see this in the movie, it will jar you. I'm using that's the word for today for me, because you think the Germans came up with the idea of extermination. That was just something that they came up with, but it wasn't. It was something. It was they were influenced. They had influence, and that influence led to their behavior changes,
yeah,
because in the beginning they were not thinking about doing what they did. They
yeah.
were a little reluctant, but then they said, they got away with it. Well, we can do
That was,
it.
I think, that was one of the most shocking things in that movie to me. That it's not readily known. No one talks about it. I mean, a lot of these things no one really talks about. But when you sit there and you have all the stuff laid out for you, you see all the how it's interconnected and weaved together. It's just like, wow, like your mind is blown.
Isabel, she really lays the groundwork. Because the whole thing, she goes through a couple of issues that happened in her life, some very remarkable incidences that happened in her life. And in the, I would say probably the lowest point of her life, she then takes on this response, this
Challenge.
idea of connecting racism with the caste system. And at first, it's almost seems, the people she's going around,
Well,
it's kind of impossible. The thought of the two being connected.
also racism, class, CLSS, and caste system. All three are she ties them together and lets you understand where how they're all connected.
No,
I'm trying to talk without saying too much.
exactly. We're trying to be cool and not give you. Like I said, we're nibbling around the edges. But what it is, I hope it's going to intrigue you, because there's so much history that there's so much history in the world that's connected to this movie. I mean, it really will give you a it gives you a summary of how cultures around the world act in today's modern world, and where this all comes from, and how these treating other people less than, and so others can feel strong and raise them up.
Yeah.
It's just, it's definitely, I'm gonna just get rid of this overlay so that way you can see me as well. So do that. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see that connection. Elise is in the building. This is our first time
Welcome.
having a third person on the screen. Welcome, Elise.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well this day. And I see
Yes.
that the majority of the people have not seen the movie, and y'all know I'm really disappointed about it, because I told my daughter it's been almost 2 months since I posted about this movie, because I saw it in December. And the opening weekend happened, and I think it's one of the most critical movie to watch now.
So, in addition to what you're saying, Elise, when I went to go see this with my husband, when we walked out, the first thing he said to me, he said, "This is an amazing movie, but I'm really sad because the people that need to see this movie will never go and see it."
Right. And some of them might, but not as many.
The majority of them won't.
But I think that per our survey today, look at how many people haven't seen it.
Yeah. And on community.
So I think, you know, we have to be balanced on that criticism, right?
This is true.
Because, my daughter was like, you know, I said, no, I will give that excuse to the general public because of how it rolled out and being in theaters. I said, but for our audience, I have been talking about this almost 2 months.
You have.
To almost 2 months. So I'm not so lenient, and maybe that's just a little harsh today, but that's just I have to get my around that. But because the title of the book is actually Caste, the Origin of Our Discontent.
Yes.
And it came out, I bought it when it was 2020. And actually I started posting it online, the book online at that time. Because, and then, you know, I started posting everything that was banned. Every book that was banned, I started posting that I owned.
Because this is one of those books that's been banned. It's been banned.
Right.
It just came out, but it's banned. It's banned in most southern states.
Right, it's banned. So I'm actually doing my second read now, which is like, I would tell anyone, you don't have to read the book in order to, don't wait to read the book to see the movie. Because I think in a way, I'm reading the book with more intention. Even though the book excited me in the beginning, I'm reading it with more intention than I did before when I read it the first time. And I, you know, and I agree with you all. It's like so critical that people see it because we need to understand the layering that takes place and how everything started. And I can say this, as I said in my video at 1 o'clock in the morning when I first saw it, is that there's a playbook that has been used for hundreds of years that's still being used even in the conflict now. It's the same playbook on how they describe people. They've been using it since they, you know, they came into this country and took it over from the indigenous people who were here. It's the same book. And they're continuing to use it. And it will be interesting to a lot of people to find out how the Germans put together their plan. I think that's going to be very interesting to a lot of people. And I'm going to honor you all in not talking specifically about the movie.
But the thing is, I mean, but that's the beauty, is that we can talk about how it impacted us without saying, you know, telling the story, you know, the dialogue of the movie.
Right.
What it did was, I know for me, when I sat there were several moments of the movie that will make you cry. Absolutely. There were several moments that I was literally like having to get my emotions in order, because you're first of all, I love learning. I love education, and I love learning about history. But what was interesting, like I said, it was most fascinating part of this movie, that it gave me clarity. Even like I've studied history. My minor in college was history. I have lots of history books. I studied church history, which is world history. I studied lots of different types of history, religions. You know, that's been my thing. It's a hobby.
Right.
However, this movie kind of like tied it all together. For the first time, I had never thought of racism and classism and the caste system and how the world is divided.
Yeah.
And how in every culture there's a people in the culture that are stepped on so that the rest of the society can feel a certain way.
Ron, so I sent something in our private chat. Copy and paste this and put it on the screen. I'm going to read this. So this is what the caste system, this is the definition of the caste system. All right. It is a social hierarchy passed down through families, and it can dictate the professions of a person, the professions a person can work in, as well as aspects of their social lives, including whom they can marry. While the caste system originally was for Hindus, nearly all of Indians today identify with a caste, regardless of their religion. And the caste system is at least 3,000 years old.
Right.
So it's been around for a very long time. And the caste system is where racism comes from.
Right. That's where, and I say this because it's in the book, right? Not because it's in the movie, but all of the isms and phobias are a part of the caste system. The
Yes.
foundation is caste systems, right? All of it is intertwined that way, which is like the disbelief of a lot of people when she started her project. But and it's understanding that part, and then the part that really made me think that, you know, I always thought about, it's like I've had laughs when I said IG is a caste system, and the reason was initially all the blue checks were considered higher up than everyone else, right? Where did Ron go?
Well, I think we're still live, though. I believe we're still live. We are still live. Yeah, so continue. He'll jump back in. He'll jump back in.
So and so I started thinking about it, and I would tell people, and I don't know how many people understood that. And then to think about when they start allowing people to acquire blue checks, how outraged some people were.
Yeah.
Because now you couldn't tell where the upper caste was anymore.
Yes.
In IG. And so that was my, as far as us personally living with something that I thought was a caste system.
I never thought of that, but that's actually true.
Yeah. And people were outraged. Who I know who well, everybody's somebody. But you have to know if they're a celebrity and they earned it. But I earned it. I'm a person, and did I get one? I didn't go out try to get one, but once people were able to acquire them, there was so much outrage. I was surprised at how much outrage there was. And then that's why I started telling people, I said it's a caste system. And that's based on my reading of caste and my understanding of caste systems and how they work.
Yeah, I did not realize how much the caste system impacted so many aspects of our life. And then to know that it started in India 3,000 years ago, basically, and how people are treated. Like, one of the things, now this is something that's common knowledge once you start looking into the caste system, as far as like, they were called Dalits, is it?
Dalits.
Mm-hmm. Dalits. Yeah, like they're considered almost like subhuman. They were used, one, they could not marry outside of that system. They could not they could not get educated. And they were used as the scum of the earth, basically. And there's a scene in the movie, but it's well known that they would use those people to clean the sewers and the feces of everyone else. Like, they would put them in piles of human excrement to clean out the sewer systems in India.
Yeah. And doing some reading, like, it'll take you, this movie, I'm gonna tell everyone, once you see it, it's gonna take you down a rabbit hole if you really pay attention. So I went down the rabbit hole of trying to find out how this label, where did all of this stuff come from? But to understand that even though they made it illegal to call them untouchables, this is not about something in the movie. They still do the lowest work. They still try to have them do the lowest work. They're still the lowest caste. And then to understand when we America and how our caste system works and who's at the top of our caste and how we are so many manipulated into wanting to be, feeling that they can be become a part of that caste, acquiring money or whatever. So you have a lot of people who have acquired money who think that's a way to get into the caste. It's really not. It's really to be used at the top of the caste, but not to get into it. You'll never be a part of it, because that's what they're fighting for now in this country, so that you don't have a right to be the top of the caste.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at it in America, to be the top of that caste, you're typically a privileged white man, and everyone else falls below them, and then people that are Black and brown and natives, they're the bottom of that list.
Right. And I think that is important to know that in America, at the African American, the ones who are descended from enslaved people are the lowest of caste.
Yeah.
It's not just all Black people, but specifically the lowest of caste for African Americans are descendants of the enslaved people. And that's interesting because when you interact with people from across the diaspora and you start having conversations, the first thing they'll tell you is, well, our parents talk to American Black kids. We can't associate with them because they're lazy. Because that's what they were told prior to them getting here. And then they say, well, we found them different. And that's a big part of it to understand. And then to understand that they probably want to keep us because we are their shame. We are what came out of the biggest crime that took place in America. Well, the biggest crime, because the first one was what they did to indigenous people.
Oh, welcome back, Ron.
Well, I'm so glad it continued. Thank goodness. My system went down. It just went down, but it still kept playing. That's good. That's good to know.
We kept it moving. We kept it moving.
Wow.
We behaved ourselves. We didn't talk about the movie.
I guess I can share some of the stuff that you guys have been sharing. Okay. I see here Chrissy says the caste system all creates the artificial buckets that they create and place you in. Yeah.
And I think we have to understand that, the interesting part about going to India, and my daughter asked me this, how do they know? Like, how do they know the difference? Or if you meet Ethiopians, I live in DC, which has one of the largest Ethiopian populations. Unless they tell you, you don't know Eritrean or an Ethiopian or a Tigrayan. We don't know unless they actually say it, because the ones that are here look alike. So we can't tell. Make a distinction, right? So when you start looking at Indians, which is one of the curiosities from the book, is they're all Indians, but you also look at our caste system within the Black race.
Mm-hmm.
There's a caste system in our culture.
Yeah.
Was shade, still was shading of skin at one point, but then it started to be wealth, started to be the accumulation of wealth. And so you had to have people who are beneath you. But
here's the thing too, because talking about within our own community and like the shades of Blackness, and the lighter you are, the higher you are up in on the scale. But then I'll even take it a step further. So many people know I'm originally from Jamaica. Even in Jamaica, now that I've seen this movie, I think of the caste system and how it's been implemented there. Because typically, if you're a lighter skinned Jamaican, you would tend to either have a little bit more wealth. And you were considered higher class than anyone that was darker. And I think you find that in many places around the world, the lighter your skin is, the higher you are in the hierarchy scale.
Yeah. Well, and a part of that's also perception, right? Because not every lighter skinned person is at a certain level, but that's the perception. We have a perceived idea about that. And so it makes you really if the book or the movie, all of them make you start thinking about everything that's going on in your life and everything going on in the world and how it's done. And I think, and Anjanou Ellis, I will tell you all, it's a shame that not been nominated. They haven't been nominated in any of those major awards.
So here's
not even SAG.
Well, no.
Here's my question. Here's my question about that. Officially, this movie was released in 2024, correct?
No, officially, their first release was in December of 2020. She did it purposely that way.
Okay. Well, then it is a snub then, because I know you have to technically come out before the end of the year to be considered for this. And that's unfortunate because the acting in this is impeccable. The other thing too, just to note, there is, I believe, one or two people in this movie that actually play themselves, which was really, really good. To be able to have that in there is so impactful, because you can kind of tell when you're watching the movie, like, wait a minute, is this person like the real person? and then it gives the movie even more credibility when you watch it.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's one scene that you think they're actually paying themselves back. It's near the end. It's not the real person.
Okay.
I just want, just for those who have seen it, it's not the real person, but there are some real people who play themselves in there.
Well, here's also Bryson says, but the good news is Origin's been nominated for Motion Picture and Best Supporting Actress, Anjanou Ellis Taylor, and the Best Director. So y'all can vote until February 24th.
That's with NAACP. Got to be specific. It's NAACP awards. They have those nominations out now.
Okay, so NAACP. It's not for the Oscars.
No,
yeah, I don't.
The Academy Award.
So.
The Academy already has theirs.
Yeah, and it was interesting to watch that to see when it got to SAG-AFTRA that they did not nominate them in any category. And she purposely put it out for the first time the first week of California. So that week in California and in LA and New York, so that it would be out there.
Yeah, it was not nominated at all. I'm on the Oscars website right now. They weren't nominated for anything.
Well, Felicia says, our Fifi in-house, she says, I feel the reason Origin was snubbed in favor of Barbie was because the subject matter is so intense and thought-provoking. This movie, like I said, for me, I left the theater. First of all, at the end, please stay to the very end.
Yeah.
Because there's a QR code that comes up that you can support them putting this movie to people and paying their way to see the film. So you're not only paying for yourself, but you can do the QR code and you can pay for someone else to see it.
It's for young. I think what they're doing is donating a ticket to like someone who's 16 or below so they can go and watch these. It's for school kids so they can watch this movie.
I think it should be required. I think it should require. I think this movie should be required and for every young person, every adult in America to see. Now I know we can't institute something like that, but it's definitely something for the classrooms of the future.
Listen to me. If they are telling you that they don't want you to learn about Black history in the state of Florida, there's no way in hell they want you to see this movie.
No.
Yeah, there's some information in here they do not want people to know, especially about the German side. They don't want people to know.
Yes, I'm still like mind blown.
The origin of our discontent is in there. So
but origin, it's rightfully labeled.
And I want you all to remember what they did with Teal.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of thing, right? But it's when you touched this continent, when you touched this country in a significant way, showing that history that they keep trying to not have us understand,
to deny.
That snub usually takes place. Because the one reason, if you notice, one of the things that they were doing, some of the celebrities out there were doing, even like people like actors and actresses, like Angelina Jolie, they were having these private screenings because that's one of the way they can try to push the Academy Award to put people. Because if you remember, they did that with a white actress last year, which ended up bumping some Black actresses from being nominated. They had these private screenings of her movie, and it moved her up. The Academy Award people moved her up as one of the nominees. And so they were trying that. Some of the celebrities out there were trying that strategy to get it on the list. But once they didn't get anything, and I want people to understand that from the organizations that they are a part of, SAG-AFTRA, that was a
here's a question. Here's a question from Chrissy. She said, do you think it's because they did this? Do you think they did this because they don't want people to understand how the oppression is baked into all societies?
Absolutely.
I like I said, I studied history pretty much, I would say, a quarter of my life. I love history. And I had never connected those dots. Never.
Well, I mean, you're not taught to. It's not as though
Right.
this is
I'd
taught
say.
in school. And I mean, you learn about these things in different periods of your life, or some things you don't even learn about. But then for someone to say, "Hey, I think these things are connected," and to even have the foresight to even think about this, it's crazy to me. But she was able to sit there and piece these things together. And then even when she approach these ideas to other philosophers and other people in education, they were like, there's no connection there. You're barking with the wrong tree. Your thesis is wrong. But then she proved them wrong. She
Yeah.
proved them wrong.
And even when she, kind of pitched it to people who had suffered oppression themselves, oh no, I don't see how we're connected, how we can be connected at all. I was like, that's interesting, because I can see it even without her talking about it that way. I can see it myself, that the there. And I think that for looking at where we go and how they treated this subject and how we move forward ourselves, it makes you become more aware and more alert. Because after this, I went to Charleston and I was trying to go see an art thing that I had the wrong date for. But I ended up, it motivates you to want to talk to people. Well, if they talk to you, if they give me an interest point, I was talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to their new International African American Museum down there.
Wow.
And it was mostly white people in the museum.
Well, that's usually the case in most. It's
Right.
sad, but that's
Right.
the case in most, except for 2 museums I've been to in my life.
Right.
That is
And it's
usually the
different than the one
majority.
here.
We're not represented. We don't go. I wish we as a people went to museums more. I am so glad what's happening in New York. The Brooklyn Museum has really now understood they needed to pair Black culture. If you have more Black cultural events in your museum, it will bring people of color to your museum. For instance, the Brooklyn Museum learned from our Brooklyn Library when Jay-Z, that whole Jay-Z exhibition was huge in New
Did you
York.
sign
I mean, they had
thing?
what's that?
Okay. Yeah. It's up.
Yeah,
No, I
it
was
was
like,
huge.
so I see Debbie's Quinn's.
Yeah, I wanted people to see Debbie's quote there. She said, "I saw
my
Origin
husband
last month.
Yeah.
What a film! So heart-wrenching." Anjanou Ellis Taylor is on now having a conversation with Jonathan Capehart for the Washington Post. Race in America, giving voice. So that's something we probably need to be looking at and stay tuned for. I'm definitely going to be looking at the replay. Yes, on right now.
So looking for the
So I'll see
replay
it
is what
later.
you have to do.
Yeah, I'll see it later.
I think it's so, and and the Washington Post has been having this series for, I know, at least since September. Conversations on race. But Anjanou, just to have people continue to ask her the same question, and then how she went out and passed out the postcards, just to get people in the because if you go and look now, it's probably not, some places have good, it's been seen by a lot of people, but a lot of it hasn't. And I think a part of it is just so reflective of what we saw today. It's like people are waiting to see it, or they may not want to see it. I don't know. But I think it's critical that you see it, and particularly in this year. This year, you definitely need to see it. If you're waffling and thinking about some of these options of not voting or third-party voting, you need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
That you can understand the language. Number one, the language that's being used. Like Ron, when you were talking earlier, when that congressman did not say husband but thug, he said her thug. It's about language.
That was crazy.
He said her husband.
That was crazy.
And so it's the language that's being used to understand what's going on, and that the playbook is still being used. And I think it's critical that people, just watch it. You don't have to read the book, the movie.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's 12:17, so we're gonna have to let our folks go and be respectful of their time. But I have to say, guys, again, like Elisa's saying, like Chris is saying, and I'm saying it, if you have not seen this movie, it is worth taking. And if you have children, please take them to see this movie. It is worth the conversation. And I guarantee you, if you haven't talked to your young people in a long time, like your teenagers, your preteen kids, this is a movie that will help bridge that gap, because your kids are going to ask questions,
Yeah.
and you can ask questions about how they feel about the actual movie, and it's going to create dialogue, and it's going to be a great educational moment for your household, and they will tell their friends. And so how do you reach people? One person at a time. We may not be able to get everybody in the theater. We may not be able to get this like on a big broadcast and it's all over the place and telling people to go. And people also in this country are asleep in so many ways. They don't even really care, including Black folks. And we have to wake up to what the facts are. But this racism in America is connected to something. It has a foundation, and that foundation is learned in this movie Origin. And I am just starting the book today on the origin of our discontent. And
so Ron, when you as you're reading, we could chat a little bit offline.
Oh, we will.
So the title is Caste.
Yeah.
Caste, C-A-S-T, the origin of our discontent.
Yes.
And the last thing I'll say is, when I watch it, when you go see this movie, you're gonna have every emotion, as Chris said earlier. You're gonna have all the ranges of emotions that you can imagine. You want to put caste in the front?
Oh, yes, that's why I wanted to put that.
You're gonna get every emotion, and you're gonna come out thinking a lot. I've seen it twice now. I went by myself, and I went by for my husband. And I'll say this: my husband was a history major. And there are things he's been learning in the last few years that he didn't learn as a history major.
Same here. I learned about the Untouchables. I didn't know the in-depths that it went. And I learned about that in college 30 years ago.
Right.
And it's hard to believe that it's still being practiced.
Yeah, that's what was eye-opening to me, that this system is still being implemented. Yeah.
It's used. We're going back right now. We're reliving the playbook now in America.
Over and over again.
Modern day slavery.
It's modern day slavery. It keeps repeating itself over and
because people do not understand history and they're not teaching it. So if you do not teach it, you are bound to repeat it. Point blank.
Yeah.
So the final word is this to everyone that's listening. I know people were sick of seeing my stories after it came out.
I wasn't. Every time you got on, I listened.
Please do yourself a favor and go see this movie, because it's going to help you understand not just what's happening in society, it's also help you understand yourself. And this movie, as I said in that video, is about man's inhumanity to man.
Yes.
Gets to your humanity. It touched me so deeply as a human, and to how I think and treat people. And I think the important thing is a movie about man's inhumanity to man, and how all of it's connected.
Man, anyway, Elise, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It was so good to have you on here. It's so good to be able to see that we can get 3 people on the screen at one time.
Oh, you can get a bunch more if you want.
Oh, really? You can add, how many people can you add on?
It depends on. I think you get like maybe 10 people. I think, or even more. Just depending on the tier that you're on.
In one screen?
Yeah, it just depends on the tier that you have.
I see, says the wise. I see, says the wise man. Okay.
You can have a whole forum.
Oh man, this is really good. I'm loving this. I'm loving this platform. Guys, if you, again, I think Instagram has been kicked off because the problem seemed to be with Instagram. I don't know why it was giving that problem for me on here. But if you are on Instagram, you happen to be listening to this, or you catch the replay, it is worth going through the replay. And I can't wait to hear what you guys were saying when I was gone.
Nope, you are live on Instagram.
I'm live on Instagram still?
Yep.
Hey, that's awesome. So StreamYard is really good.
Chris's
It really
thumbs up
is
came
good. It
through.
holds. It held its integrity. I rebooted my computer, and it still held its integrity. You guys still went on with the show.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
The
I
show
like.
goes on, my friends.
Okay. It was like, oh, what happened to run? We're still here.
Poof.
But I appreciate both for having this conversation, and I'd love to see us have more conversations about lots of other things, and even forward we can have more in-depth conversations after more people have seen the movies, just to get their reaction.
Yeah, I love doing movie reviews. We can do Focus Friday. Is that's what when I said, oh, you know what? Focus Friday is really like a time where we can just focus on, well, this is the first time we're doing a movie, right. But we were doing Instagram accounts, and now we're doing YouTube accounts. So it really is a great platform on Fridays to really zero in on some thoughts regarding some of the media that's out there.
And if I could interject one more thing.
Yes, you may.
Please go, if you have Netflix, watch Rustin.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
yes. Good.
We need to know all of our history too.
Suck it. Take it all in. Take all our history in.
Everyone needs. Right. I told my husband, I said, I have a list of like 3 movies that people should see. Origin #1. Rustin #2. He deserved his nomination. Trust.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
And American Fiction.
Yes. I haven't seen American Fiction yet.
It may because it's kind of
thrown. I say that.
You're not sure?
I saw parts of it because they were highlighted at the Martha's Vineyard African American event, and I shared it with our community, our Patreon community, some of the stuff that I experienced when I was at the Martha's Vineyards African American Film Festival.
I do want to see this one.
It's worth it. It's worth seeing it. But Rustin, again, another piece of history that we did not learn. And we did not learn.
Yeah, I just learned. And that took me down another rabbit hole.
So I know it did.
Joseph spoke at that March on Washington. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until recently. So I listened to her speech.
Yeah, it was. Well, anyway, maybe we'll talk about Rustin.
We could.
Or, next week, who knows? We can do that. I mean, I like when because those are these movies are historical in nature, and they're giving us historical facts that we are not aware of because we were never taught the history. Like we knew about Martin Luther King, we knew about the "I Had the Dream" speech, but we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes.
The backstory, yeah.
Who was responsible? Who was the architect of "I Had a Dream"? Who was the architect that brought all of those people to Washington, D.C.? Rustin, an architect.
Knew nothing about Bayard Rustin. I had to learn how to pronounce his name. It's not Bayard, it's Bayard.
Bayard Rustin.
It looks like Bayard, but it's not.
Yes, but people don't know that. People don't know that this guy was the architect.
Ryan, you can't tell a movie now. You can't tell the movie.
Well, no, I'm not going to tell a story, but I Had the Dream speech changed the course of America.
Yeah, and what he did, I think most people,
the King's speech.
I think most people are going to be extremely surprised if they don't know that already. They're going to be extremely surprised.
Woo! Anyway,
what happened.
We'll talk about that movie.
In this country happened.
Maybe I think they're going to be surprised. Should we do Rustin next Focus Friday?
We could.
And people is on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, watch it.
No, it's right. You can do it easily.
You don't have to leave your house.
That's right. Netflix. And then I'm going out to see American Fiction. Because I not only did I see parts of it in the film festival, but I wanted to support it. So that's what I try to do as well. Okay, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Let me just get all this stuff off the screen. And man, this was a nice conversation. I hope this blessed somebody today. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope that we walk away smarter than we walked into the room today. Thank you, Focus Friday folks here. Our wonderful Elise Stallworth and our Chris Edwards. You know, I like saying your name, Elise. You sound so important. You are important here. I want to have more time with you here. Okay, look, you can get on here. So, guys, again,
Yeah,
have
see, I
an
have my
amazing
earrings on.
weekend. Oh, you got your earrings.
My
Oh!
boat earrings.
So, guys, make sure you go and see the movie. Do what you need to do. Go out, see Rustin, see American Fiction, and also definitely our wonderful Origin.
Yes.
Okay, on that note, guys, have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to let the music play so that way you can, as we did yesterday, be able to communicate and send those comments for a little bit. And then I will shut it down when I see the room empty out. Okay, how about that? Okay, guys, love you all. Have a great weekend. And tomorrow is Saturday Vibe. I might be on assignment. If I'm on assignment, I won't be here. But if I'm on assignment, not on assignment, I will be here. Now I'll be here if I'm on assignment also, because I will cut into your day to say hello. Okay, guys, later.